wants to use that left to keep Longu away, and big clumping hands. Oh, there's the knockout, it's a knockdown! Oh, he was out before he went down.
In the brutal world of heavyweight combat, where muscles are chisels and every blow tells a story of life and death, giants face off not just for titles, but for absolute supremacy. Welcome to the realm where violence becomes art and fighters are true gods of the arena. When Bob Sapp, a titan sculpted from raw steel, faced Taro Akebano in 2005, the ring was transformed into an arena of glorious chaos. Sapp, the hurricane of muscles, entered like a runaway locomotive, while Akebano, a retired sumo yokozuna, looked more like a wall of flesh trying to contain the inevitable. Little did the audience know that they would witness a spectacle that mixed destruction and comedy with equal doses of adrenaline. With punches that sounded more like blows from a jackhammer, Sapp turned the fight into a live demolition show. Akebano, carrying the weight of a small truck, tried to use his mass to intimidate, but each attempt was like throwing a rock at an active volcano. The climax came with the subtlety of an earthquake. Sapp threw a cross that left Akebano teetering like a tower about to collapse. The final blow sealed the giant's fate, as he fell in an almost poetic fashion, a monument to Sapp's raw power. In the end, the message was clear. The rules of sumo may value strength and strategy, but in Sapp's domain, only those who dance to the merciless rhythm of his devastating fists survive. Imagine this, two strongman giants trading the barbells for the boxing ring. Hafthor Bjornsson, the Mountain, and Eddie Hall, the Giant of Stoke, turned their legendary rivalry into a Nordic saga of punches and sweat. It wasn't just a fight. It was Thor versus, well, another Thor in a storm of mythical proportions. When Hafthor entered the ring, his presence was worthy of Valhalla. He bore the name of a god, and his fists were thunder ready to fall. Eddie Hall, as intimidating as a medieval wall, stared at his opponent with the look of someone ready to topple mountains. But one thing became clear as soon as the bells rang. Not all strength can translate into finesse. Hafthor's punches felt like hammer blows forged by Mjolnir itself, while Eddie responded with explosions of pure fury. However, the Mountain's technique was the difference, delivering blows that would make even Odin let out a scowl in admiration. When Hall fell, it was not just a man being defeated, it was a monument crumbling. Hafthor Bjornsson, with his crushing victory, reaffirmed his dominance, showing that sometimes the ring is the true battlefield of the gods. Jamal, known as the Goliath, entered the fight determined to take down the defending heavyweight king, Rico Verhoeven. Sadik started like a tank, throwing brutal punches and dominating the early rounds. It seemed like Verhoeven's reign was about to crumble. But the Dutchman isn't called the king for nothing. Rico withstood the onslaught, showing the resilience of a warrior forged in fire. In the fourth round, he rose like a phoenix, turning the tide with a barrage of strikes that forced the referee to stop the fight. Verhoeven won by TKO, proving that his crown was far from over. Imagine a battlefield where there are no big and small fighters, only giants ready to destroy. That's what happened when Jerome Le Banner, Hurricane, took on Semi Schilt, a giant who looked more like a walking skyscraper than a fighter. Standing at nearly 7 feet tall and intimidating, Schilt turned the ring into a shadowy terrain. But Le Banner? He had other ideas. From the start, the fight was a masterclass in contrasts. Schilt, with his almost illegal reach, threw kicks like guillotines. It was like trying to fight a windmill, but Le Banner, smaller in size, made up for it with explosions of pure fury and a determination that seemed to say, "The bigger you are, the better you fall." Le Banner dug deep and brought out his brutal, technical arsenal, striking like a hammer that wouldn't rest. And even when faced with the wall that was Schilt, he managed to prove that size isn't everything. The fight was a masterpiece of courage, strategy, and sheer resilience. When the bell rang, it was clear. Sometimes it's the heart that determines who's truly the greatest in the ring. Paul Springer may have entered the ring expecting an even contest. Instead, he found Butterbean, the self-proclaimed 4-round king, who looked like he'd stepped straight into the arena from a fast food commercial. The crowd could hardly decide whether Butterbean was a boxer or a comedian in disguise, but he got the last laugh, and pretty quickly. Springer tried to keep his composure, But facing Butterbean was like fighting a tank that ate calories for breakfast and spit out knockout punches for lunch. 2 punches. That's all he needed. The first was a warning, and the second turned Springer into a pile of stringless puppets, falling to the floor with drama worthy of a bad movie.
Листый. Ну вот. На этом все и кончилось.
As Springer stared up at the overhead lights, Butterbean greeted the crowd with that carefree smile. He proved that in the ring, you don't have to look like an Adonis. You just have to be a force of nature with fists that speak for themselves. When Bob Sapp steps into the ring, it's not just a fight, it's an earthquake. And in his battle with Kintaro in the heart of Japan, the spectacle was a duel of brute strength and feline agility. Kintaro, nicknamed the Tiger, entered with all the pomp, looking ready to tear apart anything in front of him. But then the wall called Bob Sapp appeared. Sapp looked like a colossus, absorbing blows like a boulder in a storm. While Kintaro tried to dance and strike with the speed of a predator, Sapp reduced him to a desperate competitor, suffocated by his opponent's overwhelming physical dominance. Sapp's every punch was a declaration. No matter how fast you are, my weight and strength will crush any odds. In the end, the Tiger became a kitten, trapped in a cage of pure power. Bob Sapp proved, once again, that sometimes strength and size don't just matter, they're everything. The mesmerized audience witnessed not only a victory, but a lesson. Brute force, when channeled, is unstoppable. If the fight between Rocky Balboa and Sandu Lungu had happened, it would have been a clash between the cinematic icon and the Romanian brute force. Balboa, with his legendary tenacity and the heart of a champion, would have faced an opponent who seemed more like a living fortress. Lungu, nicknamed Ursul, the bear, is known for his overwhelming strength and intimidating presence. In an imagined matchup, Lungu would not be the type of opponent to exchange pleasantries in the ring. He would come in like a Romanian tank, throwing blows like hammer blows, while Balboa would try to resist with his classic resilience. But here, the glamour of Hollywood would collide with the reality of the fight. The bear would crush the hero's heart with a style that mixes brutality and efficiency.
Sandu looking the fresher of the 2 men. Big right hand. The cleaner punches coming in from Sandu. And Rocky is down. The punches to the face.
In the end, Sandu Lungu proved that, although Rocky won battles against legendary opponents on the screen, reality has no heroic soundtrack to save the day. Only sweat, blood, and the relentless strength of a real colossus. When Alexandru Lungu entered the ring, the setting seemed more like a jungle and he, a predator on the prowl. Cook, perhaps more optimistic than sensible, tried to fight the monster that stood before him, but soon realized that he had awakened something far more terrifying than any ordinary opponent. Lungu, with his brute strength and imposing presence, seemed more like a destruction machine than a kickboxer. Each blow from Lungu was an impact of pure force.
Good use of kicks. Needs to use that left to keep Lungu away. And big clumping hands. Oh, there's the knockout. It's a knockdown. Oh, he was out before he went down.
A reminder that the ring was not just a place to compete, but an arena where only the strongest would survive. Cook, though he tried to resist, was brought down by Lungu's overwhelming power, as if he were slowly being dismantled piece by piece. What started as a fight turned into a display of pure brutality, with Lungu dominating mercilessly. Lungu not only won, he made Cook an example that sometimes in kickboxing, technical skill is not enough when you are facing a physical monster. The ring was his hunting ground, and Cook, unfortunately, was just the prey. The fights are more than physical confrontations. They are epic tales of courage,
Вот.
pain, and glory. Sign up now and immerse yourself in a universe where every second can change destinies forever.